stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes.
W0TX repeater.
All right, everyone. Figured I'd show a video here. Good evening and welcome here on YouTube. Show a Spark Fun at the CSU Engineering Days. Sparkfun.com, electronics kit manufacturer based up in Niwot, Colorado. So check out the CS Engineering Days and student projects here. Pretty cool stuff here.
Hi, I'm Lauren, and we're here at Colorado State University's Laurie Student Center for E-Days, where we're going to be able to see all of the senior design projects from the engineering department. E-Days consists of the senior design projects from all of Colorado State's students, so we get a lot of different engineering departments in here. We've got students with biomedical engineering projects, we've got mechanical engineering, we've got electrical and computer engineering, and a little bit of everything, and we might even see some Spark Fun parts.
His old prosthetic, but if you pick it up, it's very heavy and hard for him to use. It requires several different steps for him just to manipulate a terminal device or flex the elbow or rotate the wrist. So it really wasn't practical for him to use for simple tasks like eating. We endeavored to make a prosthetic device that would allow him to eat independently. We CAD designed all of the components so they can be customized and 3D printed for somebody who has a similar limb deficiency and wants a similar prosthetic. All of our components were purchased from Spark Fun. So we used the Arduino Mini microprocessor, the Spark Fun Easy Driver motor driver, the micro servo, and then a stepper motor. And we wanted to make it easy for people to be able to order and wire this device up to be able to use at a low cost.
Yeah, but we want to hear about your project.
Right now, the USDA has 3 primary means of distributing these vaccines to the raccoons. This device is expected to be running, sitting on the lap of a helicopter pilot during use. So it's important that it's simple to operate because flying a helicopter is hard enough already. We have a simple stepper motor over here controlling the auger. We have a laser counter, so like a laser sensor and a laser, coupled with a GPS module. Over here in Arduino, it plots the location, coordinate-wise, the altitude, your speed, and the actual count of the bait.
Essentially what it does is, once it identifies a cat in our target zone, it will dispense a small amount of water to deter the cat. Because cats don't like water.
We are just using the TensorFlow Lite sort of base model. We've integrated a Coral USB accelerator to try to get a little bit more computational power out of our Raspberry Pi, but just running it off of the sort of standard TensorFlow Lite model.
So our basic process is that we have a vacuum retainer containing the insulin crystals and a pH test strip for quality control. The quality checks on the inside of the container make sure that the pH is right so that it's safe to inject into the bloodstream, and that is the process for getting to the insulin.
So this way you can just make insulin solution wherever you're at.
So what kind of hardware are you guys using? Take us through that.
So we have a stepper motor driver, ESP8266, and that is what controls and connects to the app. Other than that, we just have a simple belt system and then some 3D printed components that we made.
That was a little taste of CSU's E-Days. It's really amazing to see all of the life-changing, world-changing things that these students are accomplishing, and I can't wait to see where all of their projects go in the future. Thanks CSU for having us, and we will hopefully see you next time.
This is K1 DBC Net Control. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 1 minute. Good evening and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net for May 10th, 2023. Great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general, and thankfully we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie K1 DBC. My name is Dorone Delta Oscar Romeo Oscar November, and I am this evening's net control. Last week we spoke about ICOM radios, a super antenna. We briefly discussed our recent in-person event and had a brief survey on what some members have as mobile setups. Tonight we'll be taking your comments, questions, updates, and anything else you'd like to discuss. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625 locally here in the Denver metro area. You can contact us via email at elmer@w0tx.org and most social media at Denver Radio Club. You can also watch our nets on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you would like to see behind the scenes of the net or visual context, that is an additional way to view the net or archives of the net. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, or if you'd like to follow along with our check-in process, w0tx.org/check-in, and you scroll down to today's date, and you can see the check-ins there. So from a net control perspective, I'll put in your call sign, and it will fill in all of your information for me. So this will be a pretty cool process for net controls going forward. So w0tx.org/check-in if you'd like to follow along with that. With that said, though, all check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use IT phonetics for the call sign and indicate if you have traffic or questions as you check in. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
November 1, calls uniform Mike, Peter in Littleton.
Alpha Fox 0, Alpha Fox 0 Echo, Alex Bromfield.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control.
W0TX repeater.
That time we had N1GUM Peter and AF0E Alex. Thank you both so much for checking in, as always. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, we're taking call suffixes A through M, Alpha through Mike. Please check in now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India, Ron in Lakewood.
All right, in that time we had KF0 FPI Ron. Thank you so much for checking in. We'll go ahead and open up the whole alphabet. This is K1 DBC Net Control. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, great place to learn about ham radio STEM topics. We have plenty of expertise and experience. So we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please let us know your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any comments or questions as you check in. Please call now.
Alpha Echo 0 Sierra Foxtrot, Steve in Denver. Have traffic this time.
And that time we had AE0SF Steve, I believe, with traffic. All right, once more, if you'd like to check in with if you have any traffic or questions for this evening's Learning Net, please call now.
Kilo Romeo 0 Tango Echo Alpha. Terry, Arvada.
WD0 CIV, WD0 CIV, Charles in Denver. No traffic.
N4 NYX, Sarah in Arvada.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Whiskey Charlie. Brian, Centennial, no traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll hold up there for just a moment. That time we had KR0TEA Terry, WD0CIV Charles, N4NYX Sarah, and KF0AWC Brian. Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge those check-ins. Thank you so much for checking in, as always. Appreciate that. This is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone else who would like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net at the moment, we're taking call signs A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. All right, we have plenty of time to talk this evening. It's usually about 60 minutes, so 8:30 p.m., 20:30 Mountain Time. Plenty of time to check in. If you ever have any, if you ever want to check in, or if you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to jump in at any given point if no one else is speaking. With that, I think I see Steve checked in with traffic. I know I had some follow-up to do with you as well, Steve, and I do apologize. But AE0SF, Steve, go right ahead.
AE0SF, Steve. Actually, it's probably not the traffic you were thinking. I was supposed to attend Skyward training tonight, but it got canceled due to severe weather, which is kind of ironic. But I actually had a request. I've just started learning Morse code. And it's kind of a slog, but I'd like to keep going with it. So I wanted to actually check in, every time I check into the net, actually give a report on it so that I can keep myself honest so I don't just let it fizzle out. AE0SF, back to net.
All right, AE0SF, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I know. Thank you so much on that. Appreciate that. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I believe you had mentioned during our in-person event and what you there mentioned as well, there was supposed to be an event here tonight, but it looks like it may have been canceled due to the weather. So yeah, the Skywarn Spotter training program, we've always tried to speak about that from the National Weather Service. Yeah, and as some of the inclement weather here and some of the large hail, it's good to be able to describe things with known kind of qualitative and quantitative values and whatnot. So yeah, weather.gov, Skywarn spotters. So yeah, sorry to hear that got canceled out there. Yeah, CW learning. There's a lot of people definitely interested in CW and Morse code. So I might not be able to catch it if you do it, but you're more than happy to check in or communicate via CW little bits here or there, and we can try to pick up on that. So yeah, just to keep you honest there. So A0SF Steve, yeah, glad to hear that. So yeah, if you need follow up on that, or if you want to let us know where you're at in your process, or what kind of keyer you're using, or whatever you got going on, let us know.
Right at this point, I'm just starting to receive, but I'm using the G4FON app on the computer, and I'm only up to about 3 letters, and now, at this point, like I said, it's a little bit of a slog. I'm kind of stuck on 3 letters at the moment, but I think I'll be ready to move to the next one pretty soon, so that's kind of where things stand right now. E0SF back to the net.
All right, sounds good there. A0SF Steve, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, good to hear that on the G4 FON Coke method Morse trainer there. Yeah, learning. There's concepts of learning letters versus words versus groups of words, and being able to understand words. And so yeah, there's a lot of, as they say here, a difference in rhythm and feel of words and random groups. Once you've been accustomed to copying words, you should start copying sample QSOs. And so, yeah, hearing call signs, hearing your own call sign, other call signs, picking things out, those things might make things easier for you or anyone else trying to learn that. So yeah, Coke method, CW ops we've talked about in the past, lcwo.net, learn CW online. A lot of different methods for a lot of different learning styles out there. So yeah, glad to hear you're trying to get into that, because there's a lot of availability and a lot of transmissions and low power transmissions available for that. So very cool stuff.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'm sure there's some nets out there, and ARL CW practice, and yeah, if anybody is ever interested, use our regular repeaters. If there's nobody on there, try to practice some Morse with somebody out there, and at whatever words per minute you feel comfortable, and learn at your own pace. This is a volunteer hobby, and nobody gets paid to use CW really. Well, none of us really all in this hobby, but learn what you want, and there's a lot to it, and it can extend a lot more into a lot more code and a lot more things there. So this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else on CW learning, Morse code, Skywarn spotter, anything else? Any other check-ins? Anything else so far? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We got N0TRP checking in online. Appreciate that, Jim. And again, if just to give him a thanks for taking Net Control in the past, fourth Wednesdays of the month when I'm unable to do so, and just give a shout out. Just if anybody listening is ever interested in taking Net Control, we have a lot of tools and a lot of systems available for you if you like, and or you can run the net however you'd like. So if you're ever interested in running the net, there's a lot of opportunity, so don't ever hesitate to get in contact with myself or anyone else in the club, and we can try to get you set up. So it's a lot of just reading a script and just rolling from there. So this is K1DBC Net Control, yeah. Anyone else at the moment? Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's net? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Again, as a reminder, I think there's about a 3-minute timeout on a repeater at the moment. So if I'm going to talk extendedly, I have just a countdown timer here of 3 minutes, and I'll try to make sure I'm under that. So I have a few things I can bring up, some upcoming events from our club, things like that. But if anybody else has anything else, please call now.
N4NYX with a question for the group about weather.
N4NYX, Sarah, the net is yours. Go right ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I guess interesting discussion topic for anyone else is when the severe weather hits, kind of curious what frequencies, repeaters, or talk groups some of the other people might be listening to hear from the other hams in their area what they're seeing or what's going on with that. Today I was listening into the Sky Hub Severe Weather Room as weather was rolling through, and that was a pretty up-to-date resource to be listening along to, but wondering if anyone else has other resources that they're listening into. And for NYX, back to Net Control.
And for NYX, this is K1DBC Net Control. Good question there. What nets or repeaters are people monitoring? Yeah, you mentioned there the Sky Hub Link Severe Weather Watch Network linked repeaters and whatnot. If anybody else has anything on that, I'll drop in if anybody else. What repeaters, what are you listening to during severe weather, inclement weather? Go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Once more, yeah, we've had some pretty inclement weather here in the Denver metro area, just within the past few days at least. So if anybody has any comments, questions on where you might monitor severe weather, it sounded like Sky Hub Link WeatherNet, Severe WeatherNet's a pretty good place to watch that. But if anybody has any follow-up on where you might be able to report or monitor weather conditions within the area or other areas, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. So I couldn't get much more of an answer there. I know recently I started to watch APRS.fi, and we have a lot of weather reporting stations. You can watch a lot of the output from some of the weather stations out there, and I think it's aggregated to some other sites as well. But Sarah, and for NYX, if you have any other follow-up on that, go right ahead.
Don't think I have much to follow up on that. The Sky Hub severe weather was an interesting thing to listen into since they pull in the analog repeaters that are in the covered areas. That way that's going out over analog. But they also have a DMR talk group, so I was able to hear it as the storms were roving through the area, regardless of if my local repeater was linked in. So that's an interesting strategy for it. But I don't know, was kind of curious to hear if anyone knew that say like their local Aries repeater, for instance, was paying attention to the weather, or I don't know. It was interesting when I took my Skywarn class. They didn't have a whole lot of answers as to where to hang out on the radio if you wanted to hear anything from the other spotters or so on and so forth. So that was mostly the purpose of my question. Anyway, that's my closing comment. We'll toss back to Net Control. This is N4NYX.
All right, and for NYX, Sarah, appreciate the follow-up on that. Yeah, and the SkyHub link, yeah, tons of repeaters linked. Not really within the internet potentially, and within the internet, but yeah, really good place to kind of monitor how the weather is rolling through certain areas. I swear on Facebook I saw maybe Colorado Aries or maybe the Colorado ARL group mentioning something about a group maybe monitoring that, but that's a good point as well. Some of the Aries groups might have some involvement with that. Would make a bit more sense as well. So yeah, really appreciate the follow-up on that. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, anyone else at the moment? Any other comments, questions on anything else we've spoken about so far this evening? Skywarn spotting, weather monitoring, CW operations, anything else? Please call now. All right, I'll see if I could try to dig up the link that I maybe had found there, but with that, I guess I'll take this opportunity to take check-ins. This is K1 DBC Net Control. If you're just tuning in, this is the W0TX Denver Radio Club ham learning, a great place to learn about ham radio STEM topics and ham radio in general. So plenty of combined expertise and experience and expertise. If you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please let us know your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now.
W0TX repeater.
Kilo Zero Golf Papa Alpha Bob in Lakewood. Had to turn off my scanner.
Alpha Echo Zero Romeo Kilo. Fred in Denver, no traffic.
All right, that time we had K0GPA Bob and AE0OK Fred. Thank you both so much for checking in. Anyone else who'd like to check in at the moment? We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, streaming on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club if you'd like to follow behind the scenes. W0TX.org/check-in. You can follow a spreadsheet of the check-ins. I'll put your call sign in, and it puts in all your information there. You can follow along with that. What else here? Anyone else just at the moment? Any check-ins? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Just a quick follow-up on the last comment there from N4 NYX Sarah about severe weather reporting. It looked like I had seen maybe the Arapahoe County Amateur Aries group, ACARES, was maybe held a net about that. So 25 Aries members and 4 visitors gave accurate reports, passing on many of these reports directly to the National Weather Service using DMR. Cherry Creek School District and their Office of Emergency Management for Adams and Arapahoe counties reported reports received on the radio frequencies range from 1 inch and smaller to 2.5 inches hail reported near Strasburg, as well as wall cloud, but no tornadoes were reported throughout Adams and Arapahoe counties. So that was about 20 minutes ago on the ACARES Facebook group here. So I think I had just briefly seen that. So it looks like some of the areas groups are maybe monitoring some of our weather and things like that. So if you ever have any interest, again, National Weather Service, Skywarn spotters, but some of the areas groups, if you ever want to check into their repeaters and nets as well. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's net? Otherwise, I can bring a couple things up. Please call now.
0 GPA.
GPA, Bob, go right ahead.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if you know that a lot of the Aries groups, they use 146.640 repeater and 146.67. I heard them on both of those repeaters today, and they had spotters out spotting for them. K0 GPA.
All right, K0 GPA, appreciate the follow-up on that. 146.64 and 146.67, it sounds like, for monitoring of that for some of the Aries groups. So appreciate that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, good options there for repeaters to listen into, as well as some of the other the Sky-Hub link and some of the other linked repeaters and things like that. So, yeah, appreciate the follow-up on that. Yeah, this is K1DBC Net Control. We have another 30 minutes or so. I can bring up a few things, some of our upcoming events, some of the things we've talked about in the past, some other things. But anyone else, any other comments, questions, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Upcoming event next week, or upcoming meeting online, presented by Desiree Backus, N3DEZ. They are the ARL Public Relations Committee or coordinator, and pretty involved with the ARL and a lot of activities. So May 17th, next week, next Wednesday, Desiree will be talking about her experiences with both ARL and NASA on the air. She's very passionate about both of these organizations and very interesting person to listen to. So you can check out her QRZ page. She's been elected the secretary of Lockheed Martin Wanaton Amateur Radio Society. She's supporting the ARL Public Relations Committee while finishing up her degree at Champlain College for Business Administration Project Management. 2022, supported as a member of Colorado Federal Executive Board, Vice Chair for Emergency Preparedness Council, and as the station trustee for NASA Ames Amateur Radio Club. She participates frequently in HF Fun Nights, antenna shootouts, fox hunts, and go to every radio conventions around her in the Colorado area. So she's active on D-Star as well as 20 meters. So a lot of cool stuff here. So this is K1DBC Net Control. There'll be a pretty cool presentation coming up next week. So w0tx.org for more information on that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins? We've been talking about CW, Morse code, Skywarn spotting, some of the weather supporting, severe weather spotting, and some of the options for that. Upcoming meeting here. Anything else? Anybody else like to check in? Any other comments, questions? I can bring up a couple of other things. Let us know.
Alpha Delta Zero, Uniform Zulu, AD0UZ, Brennan Mobile, late check-in.
AD0UZ Brennan, got you checked in. If you have anything else, let us know. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. If you had been watching on YouTube, but if not, there's, well, let's talk about a pretty cool organization company here in Colorado up in Niwot called Spark Fun. They're an electronics kit components manufacturer and pretty cool organization, and they have a pretty cool YouTube channel. They recently did a video on the CSU E-Days, Engineering Days, and had some pretty cool video on that. So you can check out their video on their YouTube, Spark Fun Electronics, on a lot of student projects from biomedical engineering to mechanical engineering, computer science, mechanical engineering, a lot of just different engineering disciplines that we've kind of talked about and touched upon. So pretty cool stuff here. So this is Spark Fun at the CSU Engineering Days 2023. Pretty cool video to check out here.
W0TX repeater.
Bloodstream, and that is the process for getting to the insulin.
So this way you can just make insulin solution wherever you're at.
So what kind of...
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, so please check that out. Spark Fun at CSU Engineering Days. Support local students within the area, and let's try to get more people on the air and more people interested in RF engineering, because it's all around us. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the group. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else, please call now.
And Lake check-in, KE0SUM, Jonathan Lakewood, Hydron.
All right, KE0SUM Jonathan, good evening. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for your check-in. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff we can bring up here and talk about, but you know, we have this net once a week for I don't know how many years now. So you know, there's some well-trodden topics, but you know, if you ever have any comments, questions on some of the things we may have talked about, whether it be discrete antennas with an HOA, or getting on HF, or learning CW, or any interest, we're always open for discussion, and we can always discuss anything else, any new leading topics. So, but this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else at the moment? Comments, questions, check-ins, please call now.
I have a question, Ron. SUM.
KE0SUM Jonathan, go right ahead.
You've got a lot of listeners who are very experienced. I was wondering how anyone had done EME, Earth, Moon, Earth, and how that went, and what frequencies they were using. I've been seeing something on YouTube where some people were doing that, but I've never tried, just kind of looked at it. KE0SUM, back to that.
KE0SUM Jonathan, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, great question there. Earth, Moon, Earth, EME, use of Moon as a passive communications satellite. So yeah, there's pretty cool stuff out there on that. But I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone has any experience on Earth, Moon, Earth communication, or maybe bouncing your communications against maybe a satellite or comet or asteroid? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone else at the moment? How to use amateur radio moon bounce for EME propagation or anything on that? Let me know because it's a pretty cool prospect here. Let us know. Please call now.
Zero GPA.
GPA, Bob, go right ahead.
Yeah, I never did it, but on 6 meters, when bands were open, I used to hear this guy in Montana. I think it was W7 GJ, like grape juice, or K7, and he had pictures of big old arrays that he built, and you can turn them in that. And I don't know if it's still online on QRZ or not, but I think that was his call. I remember grape juice anyway, what he used to give his call. But yeah, he had some monster antennas, and he did it on 2 meters. So there's all kinds of Yagis that they had. I don't know how much power. I think they were running 1,000 watts at least. K0 GPA.
All right, thank you so much there, Bob, for following up there on that. I wonder, SUM, if you have any other follow-up on that, go right ahead.
In 6 meters and explain the best way for them to get going on 6-meter moon bounces.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I know there's a pretty cool documentary here.
This is Grace. Goodbye,
from,
Moon.
Grace Walcott on ham documentary here. So pretty cool stuff here. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Anything else on that, Jonathan? I don't know. I have not tried moon bounce myself, but yeah, there's a lot of intricacies to it, I'm sure. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. I wonder if you or anyone else has any follow-up. Go right ahead.
Oh, drone, I've been interested in it for quite a while and talked to a number of hams about it, but I'm not even sure exactly how to do it and even what frequencies to work with. But that's part of ham. Learning experience. KE0SUM. Back to that.
Boom.
All right, sounds good there, Jonathan. Yeah, I think GPA may had some follow-up. Go right ahead.
If you look on QRZ W7 GJ, you'll see a bunch of his antennas. He's got all kinds of them. And must be a lot of money in that stuff. But he's got, towers and everything. K0 GPA.
But Bob, do you think we could do it successfully from your backyard? SUM.
I don't know. I don't have to have pretty good gain antennas for that. 2 or 3 or more at least, and some power.
Well, Bob, you mentioned the last part. Is that part of it? If you're doing EME, you really need some power.
Well, that's what I've heard, that most of them running, some power with it, but I don't know if you can do it with 100 watts or not.
All right, this is a K1DBC net control. Looks like a band of use maybe for that is 6 meters, and I'm sure the more power the better. So yeah, as as mentioned there, W7GJ might be some. He looks like might have some more information on that. So anyone else or s.t.e.m or anyone else? GPA, go right ahead.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC net control. Wow, some interesting technical information here. EME communications technical details. This limits the use. So the limitation usage technique to spectrum of VHF and above for EME. The moon must be above the horizon in order for EME communications. Determine EME path loss. We need to know the moon distance from either the transmitting or receiving station. Transmitting station outputs in watts. It's expressed as ERP. Let's see, receive station gain, operating frequency of the transmitter and receiver. A lot of math here. So, yeah, a lot of coordination and a lot of practice probably makes perfect. So, this is K1DBC net control. Yeah, pretty cool kind of a romantic idea of bouncing a signal off of the moon. So. Yeah, I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else on what we've spoken about or this topic or anything else? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We have another 15 minutes or so. If anybody has any comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's net, please let us know. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'm sure I can bring up a couple of things here, but if anybody else has any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far you'd like to bring up for this evening's net, again, we have another 15 minutes. If you'd like to check in at any given time, you're more than happy to do so. YouTube.com/Denver Radio Club. You can see behind the scenes. W0tx.org/check-in. You can see, can follow along with the check-ins there. But anyone else, any other comments, questions, check-ins, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. This is K1DBC Net Control. Here in the Denver, Colorado area, here in Colorado, we have a lot of engineering at our not our disposal, but a lot of engineering disciplines, a lot of commercial engineering, a lot of industries here, and a lot of small businesses. One of these businesses is called Great Scott Gadgets. They are here based in Colorado. You may have heard of them, some of their products, the Hack RF1, some of their software-defined tools, greatscottgadgets.com for more information on there. They design a spectrum analyzer, vector network analyzer, a lot of different tools and hardware. Let's see, recent news about them is they're to develop a universal radio test instrument, URTI. Creators of the Hack RF, Yardstick One, and Great FET, among other products, have announced they are developing a device called the Universal Radio Test Instrument. Let me drop for here for a moment. This is K1DBC Net Control. This is via the blog rtl-sdr.com, rtl-sdr.com, and then linked to the greatscottgadgets.com. Let's see. It will offer radio amateurs this product, the Universal Radio Test Instrument. Radio amateurs, researchers, educators, and professionals an affordable, compact RF test tool that could be used in place of multiple expensive pieces of traditional radio test equipment. Their goal is to design a single hardware platform capable of serving as many popular devices of one-port or two-port RF test instruments. They plan to build a directional coupler in a wideband, full duplex, software-defined radio platform to enable functions, again, as spectrum analyzer, vector network analyzer, vector signal generator and analyzer, antenna analyzer, power meter, frequency counter, and full duplex software-defined transceiver. So a lot of functions all in one. So the design and hardware still be very early stages. Nothing early other than early components lab tests released yet. However, given their track record, they expect to release a high quality and completely open source product in time. So we look forward to that. Oh, yeah, there's nothing on their GitHub, is there? There's probably a ton. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control, so I'm sure that was a lot of hoopla, a lot of keywords there. Let me drop and see if make sure I'm not doubling. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, in the advent of some of these tiny SDRs, tiny SAs, tiny frequency analyzers, things like that, this kind of seeks to bring all those products into kind of one platform and do everything in one. Be kind of the Swiss blade or the kind of all-in-one pocket knife for this. So yeah, it'll be a pretty cool tool. I'm sure their cost won't be too great, and it is all open source, so you can build it yourself. So Great Scott Gadgets, pretty cool stuff here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We have another 10 minutes or so. If anybody else has any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think I had somebody trying to check in there, but I really could not get any of your calls signed. If you want to try once more, go right ahead. If anyone here caught that, let me know. This is K1DBC Net Control. One more time, this is a K1DBC Net Control. I think I may have doubled over someone checking in or something there, but if anybody was trying to call in or something, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. If anybody would like to check in at this time, if anybody's been trying to check in, hasn't been able to get in, this is K1DBC Net Control. Please call now.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I can bring up a few more stories here, but anyone else at the moment, any other comments, questions, check-ins, please call now.
Question. S.t.e.m.
KE0SUM, Jonathan, go right ahead.
I was wondering, everybody who's listening, do you find, say we're just going to do 40-meter end-fed half-wave with a 9-to-1 balun on the end versus 40-meter dipole with a tuner. Somebody think there's a better preference or which one works better? KE0SUM back to that.
All right, Jonathan, KE0SUM. This is K1DBC Net Control. Good question there. 40 meter on a 9-to-1 Unin versus 40 meter on a dipole and tuner. Anyone have any comments, questions on performance or feedback on that or any understanding? Go right ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think we maybe spoke something about this similarly. I can't remember if it was just convenience purposes, convenience sake or whatnot. But yeah, Jonathan, I don't know what it was, but KE0SUM or anyone else using a 9-to-1 Unun for 40 meters versus a dipole and tuner, let us know. Go right ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. KE0SUM, if you have any follow-up on that, go right ahead.
Oh, drone is throw a piece of wire up in the air and get on. That's the way ham radio works. Then you discover antennas are like a bigger portion than you understood. So I'm always thinking about antennas. Thanks for the question. Let me ask the question. KE0SUM back to that.
No problem. Sounds good, KE0SUM, Jonathan. Yeah, this will be a question we can always discuss in the future as well. So yeah, we'll bring it up again next time. Maybe there'll be some other further follow-up on that. So this is K1DBC Net Control. We have another 5 or so minutes here. There's no hard stop, but we usually end in about 5 or so minutes. If anybody has any other follow-up, any comments, questions, check-ins, I can bring up a few quick stories here to wrap things up. But any other comments, questions, check-ins, projects you're working on, summits on the air, any other projects? We got our field day coming up. A lot of things on our website. Check that out. I'll plug that at the end of the net here. But anything you want to bring up, please call now. All right, this is a K1DBC Net Control. Let me drop here for just a moment. This is K1DBC Net Control. We had a meeting that was not recorded a couple of years ago, but I believe it was on Summits on the Air, and I think this may have been one of the products they had been talking about on xmaps.com. Basically, a good way of understanding public rights of way and roads and where to park. So if you don't necessarily want to climb an entire summit, you can maybe pay a monthly fee for an app to find ways to get Summits on the Air contacts by being on the summit. So summer's upon us now. So parks on the air, summits on the air. lots of cool ways to get on the air. So if you want to get out there, or if you want to be the recipient of that call, yeah, listen out on the air, because there's a lot of stuff happening at the moment.
Zero GPA.
K0 GPA, Bob, go right ahead.
A lot of those summits on the air guys use that map system you'd said. Anyway, yeah, plus the four-wheeler clubs use it too. And I use, one I use a lot is the Cotrex, Colorado Trex. I think that's it, Trex. And it's by the Fish and Game or Fish and Wildlife or Parks, whatever they call them. You can download it online. That works really good. I use that when I'm out ATVing, four-wheeling, and it shows all the trails for bicycle trails, snowmobile, ATV, Jeeps, and all that. It's pretty good. I got it on my notebook deal, and I carry it with me, and whenever I get in range of a signal, I can usually download or look it up better. It even shows you satellite views, K0 GPA.
All right, K0 GPA, Bob, great mention there. Yeah, Cotrex, trails.colorado.gov. It looks like it's a kind of a free option. It may take a little bit more understanding how to dig into it, but this gives you probably the same information, public rights of way, public information that the state and government has to provide, but it may take a little bit further to find. So, yeah, very cool information here. So, yeah, trails.colorado.gov, and yeah, if you just renewed your license plates, there was a Colorado Parks and Wildlife option in that. So yeah, no excuses, not any reason to get in our parks and wildlife and summits on the air, things like that.
That app also, you can measure distances with it, and it'll show you the rise in terrain and that. I'll have to go back in there and reuse it. I haven't used it since last summer. But yeah, it's pretty neat. It shows you where started the trail and where the highest elevation is and everything. So it works real well.
Very cool, GPA, Bob. Thanks for bringing that up. Cotrex, yeah, Android or iPhone. So, yeah, if you want to know easiest ways to get on these summits, or where to park for free and enjoy our parks and wildlife and things like that, sounds like a pretty good option there. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Appreciate that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We're just about at the end of our net here. I'll throw it out to the group. I can bring up, or I'll bring up some things about our club here in just a moment, but this will be the second to last call. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, please call now.
W0TX repeater.
TRP.
Yeah, N0TRP, go right ahead.
Yeah, just to follow up for Sarah and for NYX on repeater for emergency listening. I knew there was one up on Devil's Head, and it just took me a while here to find it, but it's at 447.525 is what I'm seeing. And that repeater is limited to Aries races, emergency traffic, so that might be one to give a listen to. N0 TRP, back to net.
All right, perfect. N0TRP, this is K1DBC 447.525. Yeah, it looks like it's Aries repeater here for Colorado Aries.org, potentially. So very cool stuff here. Appreciate that. All right, very cool stuff here. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I can try to recap here what we've spoken about here so far, but let me drop, see if anyone else has any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far. Last minute, please call now.
K0 GPA.
GPA, Bob, go right ahead.
I think wasn't it Denver Radio Club? Didn't they have a 449125 repeater? We used to use it quite a bit about 10 years ago, but then the new forest management made us take it down. It might have been on CRA one, but that had some really good coverage too, but I can't remember which club had that. But now I heard that even the GMRS group has one up there too now.
All right, gotcha, Bob. GPA. Yeah, I'm not too sure on that specific repeater itself. Yeah, I can't remember from our club on what that repeater was, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of repeaters and options for probably emergency weather spotting and MCOM services. But yeah, appreciate the follow-up on that. All right, this is Daron K1 DBC. This will be the last call. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for this evening's Denver Radio Club Learning Net? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. W0tx.org for everything on our club. Again, May 17th, next Wednesday, is our upcoming meeting online presented by Desiree Backus, N3DEZ. Really cool presenter here on ARL and NASA on the air. You can find more information on her, N3DEZ on QRZ. Again, very quickly on her, secretary for Lockheed Martin Waterton Amateur Radio Station, supporting role for amateur ARL Public Relations Committee. Let's see, member of Colorado Federal Executive Board, vice chair for Emergency Preparedness Council. Let's see, and the NASA Ames trustee for NASA Ames Amateur Radio Club. So a lot of cool information. So she'll be presenting a lot of information on ARL and NASA on the air next Wednesday. So check that out, May 17th, 6 p.m. for the Elmers session, and then 7 p.m. for the meeting there. So w0tx.org/meet, as well as some of the other meet.google links, as well as it will be broadcast on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So check that out next week. So with that, appreciate everyone checking in. We had a total of 14 check-ins. Let me drop here for a moment. Again, as always, we definitely appreciate everyone who could check in. We appreciate the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters. If you ever want to operate as a net control operator, don't ever hesitate to get in contact with myself or N0TRP Jim or anyone else. W0tx.org/officers. You'll see a bunch of emails there. We're more than happy to do any more mentorship or give you any guidance on running net control. You just have to kind of read a script and just move along a conversation. So yeah, it's not too bad. So if you're ever interested, please don't hesitate to join in on that. Again, next Wednesday's our meeting, and then the Wednesday after that is a board meeting. So I'm unable to be the net control. So N0TRP will be the next net control for the 24th of May. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Let me see if I have anything else, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. That is all that I have for this evening. Again, get in contact with us however you'd like, via email, social media, everything at Denver Radio Club, and w0tx.org, a lot of contact information on there. So with that, this is K1DBC Net Control. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll play a couple-minute video to wrap things up. But again, on the air, appreciate everyone checking in as always. 7-3, I will be clear. Everyone have a good evening. All right, thanks everyone for watching on here. This is going to be the Hackaday Prize 2023, Challenge 1, Re-Engineering Education. So check this out, pretty cool stuff. And we'll see you all next week or whenever we see you. So have a good one.
Hey everybody, it's Jay, and welcome back to the Hackaday Prize. Our first challenge this year is re-engineering education. We asked for the best hacks to inspire and educate both inside and outside the classroom. Let's take a look at some of the best entries for this challenge. The World is Mine. The World is Mine is a world map that is lit by RGB and fiber optics, creating something that is both visually interesting and interactive. As a bonus, it would make for a great visual aid during games of Risk and other forms of imaginary world domination. Another familiar companion in the world of education is the Handy Calculator. Pycra is a programmable calculator that runs Raspberry Pi Pico and CircuitPython. Python makes it easily accessible and hackable for beginners or veterans alike. You can use it as a teaching tool or dive deeper to discover how it works at an electronic or software level. You know, to install games and such. Robots in the classrooms are a relatively new trend. LOTP Robot Dog brings open source robotics to the classroom, offering a quadrupole design that allows it to navigate difficult terrain. The open source element allows it a wide range of educational options that simply aren't possible with closed design source. On a separate note, did anyone else have a classroom pet when they were in school? Something tells me a robotic dog mascot would be a hit. The DSKY kit is a replica of the display keyboard from the Apollo guidance computer, which is awesome. It's also quite different from today's interfaces, and is a great way to become familiar with historical technology. The design is built in a Raspberry Pi and 3 Arduinos. Knowing how capable this tech can be, I wouldn't be surprised if it could control spacecraft. Certain basic tools will always have a place on the bench. The do-it-yourself Pocket Thermal Imager provides valuable experience building an electronic device from modules. Learning about infrared light, heat, photons, and other elements of physics are possible with this handy device. It also shows how something like this can be used to fine-tune energy efficiency, troubleshoot electronics, and other use cases. Interactive maps, Python-powered calculators, robot mascots, space computers, and classic thermal imager. The 10th year of this prize is off to an amazing start. Next up is the Assistive Device Challenge. Share projects that help people with disabilities or limited mobility live their lives to the fullest. Let's show the world how one idea can change everything. We'll see you in the upcoming months.